If you're like me and you heard of Russell Brand and thought, wow, this guy is too funny and too good not to get into any controversy, then I'm with you. And it's a tale as old as time and as old as day. If you make the wrong people mad, then you will pay the price. And that's exactly what's happening with Russell Brand now. He's paying the political price for switching what he believes and realizing his old viewpoints were wrong and switching them for new ones that actually make sense. With that being said, let's dig into the whole entire situation involving Russell Brand.
Facts over tracks, isn't that spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas, think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past.
Almost everyone watching this right now knows who Russell Brand is, but if you don't, Russell Brand was born in Grays, Essex, England on June 4th, 1975, and he has had a troubled childhood, marked by his parents' divorce and his parents' mental problems. Brand was expelled from several schools for bad behavior, and he eventually dropped out of high school. After working a variety of odd jobs, Brand began performing stand-up comedy in the early 1990s. He quickly gained a reputation for his flamboyant style and his willingness to tackle controversial topics. In 2000, Brand landed a job as a presenter on MTV UK, where he quickly became one of the channel's most popular personalities. In 2004, Brand was hired to host Big Brother's Big Mouth, a spin-off show of the popular reality TV show Big Brother. Brand's over-the-top antics and willingness to poke fun at the show's contestants made him a household name in the United Kingdom. In 2008, Brand made his breakthrough in the United States with his starring role in the comedy film Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Brand played Elidus Snow, a rock star who is dumped by his girlfriend, Kristen Bell. The film was a critical and commercial success, and it made Brand a star on both sides of the Atlantic. Brand has since starred in a number of other films, including Get Him to the Greek, Arthur, and Hip. He has also hosted the MTV Video Music Awards twice, in addition to his acting and hosting career. Brand is also a successful author and comedian. He has published several books, and he continues to tour with his stand-up act. He is also a vocal advocate for social justice and environmental causes. In recent years, Brand has become increasingly interested in spirituality and meditation. He has spoken openly about his own struggles with addiction and mental health, and he's used his platform to help others. Russell Brand is a complex and fascinating figure. He is a talented comedian, actor, and writer. He is also a social activist and a spiritual seeker. Brand's fame has allowed him to use his platform to make a difference in the world, and he continues to inspire and entertain audiences around the globe. With that being said, let's dig into the situation that we have in front of us first and foremost. I sadly did not know Russell Brand from 2006 to 2013. I was too young to know about him, and I did not watch any YouTube. But what I do know is that I know him now, not personally, but publicly. He's a funny guy that tells the truth, and you can see that he genuinely in his eyes. But starting off with the Insider article, the first article that I actually found on the case, Insider claims to have a timeline of what actually happened. But there are three sides to every story that we must remember. One person's side and the other person's side in the truth. In that last side is when you find the first two sides, okay? But after reading the whole entire article, all they end up talking about is controversies that he had all in his past. And it's not even that bad. Like telling the truth about the sickness that we all had to deal with in the year 2020 to 2022. Yeah, that one. Or the time where he protected Katy Perry when they were getting married. As they were in LAX about to board a plane, a creepy photographer came up to them and tried to stick a camera up Katy Perry's dress to try to take a picture, after which Russell beat the photographer, thus showing the cameraman that you don't do stuff like that. But I mean, thinking about this, what did the media actually expect him to do? Just sit there like a sad dog? No, that's stupid. We can even say that Katy Perry said thank you after this and said, this is what happens when you stick a camera lens up my dress. You have to meet with my fiance. So let's look at another news source, shall we? If we take a look at another YouTube channel, Mirror, we can see that they published a video, in fact, the same exact video that everybody was posting. But they didn't think that we could actually notice that. That's just stupid. Neglecting that first and foremost, okay, neglecting that. They talk about the timeline of what supposedly happened and when the alleged assaults happened. So, let me see here. They started it off in 2006 when a woman came out and said that she was sexually assaulted by him. I cannot say that this allegation is stupid because it's a nameless woman, but I can almost promise that the situation must have been different from that. In 2007, another nameless woman claimed that he sexually assaulted her and was abusive to her. But what I can say is that no one so far is explaining what he actually did. They're just going in the broad terms and saying, oh, he sexually assaulted or he did this sexually to me. Just say what he actually did because we're going to believe you better. But for the woman, I guess, she had to just tell everybody 7 years later in a tell-all book that she made in 2014, which does not make me believe her whatsoever. If a woman claims that somebody else did something to her 7 years later, why don't you go and tell the police that very day? It doesn't make any sense. In 2014, another woman claims that he raped her in his LA home 2 years prior in 2012. So why did she wait so long to tell everybody? Just does not make any sense. If someone I knew was raped, I would go and tell the police yesterday. In 2013, another woman came out and said that he sexually assaulted her in his LA home and threatened to take legal action if he told anyone. But that doesn't even make any sense because you would just hypothetically, in this case, just pull more attention toward the case, which is just stupid because you do not want people finding out about the deed that you did. But I don't know about this one, but in 2020, the original girl that came out in 2006 contracted the itinerary agent for Meetup, and they replied that you were misled and you had no professional ties with Russell Brand, which just makes me trust a woman even less now, because why would you go back to the same exact person that sexually assaulted you back, 14 years prior? It does not make any sense. And he even denied the allegations then. Hopping into 2023, we can see that the Sunday Times just recently reached out personally to every girl Russell ever put his hands on throughout his whole entire life and wanted an interview with every single one of them. Then, after the interview was over, the Sunday Times put together a story based on what they wanted the story to be and not the truth. Some of the people who were interviewed even said that the Sunday Times didn't want to put their story in because it just proves Russell did nothing wrong. This proves that the mainstream media is out to get Russell Brand, and because of the fact that Russell Brand does not agree with the mainstream media would just keep on with these coordinated attacks, which they do to every single political person on the right, but they never do it to the people on the left. With that being said, we're going to be digging into the headlines of the week. Okay, getting right in, we actually have a couple articles in the headlines of the week. We are starting off with the Daily Wire. We have Los Angeles average gas price tops $6 a gallon, and this is not surprising. I mean, we already knew that this was coming. We already saw glimpses of this a couple of years ago. Or a couple of years ago, I would say that the gas prices were a lot better during 2020, 2021. 2022, we saw gas prices go up. 2023, the beginning of it, I would say, of this year, we saw it dip a little bit, but then it comes back up, of course, because we're not producing as we should in America. We need to produce more in America, more oil, more everything in America, because that's going to make it cheaper. We don't have to import stuff from other countries. And then pay their hefty fines, and then their third taxation and all these other unnecessary stuff, when we can just produce it here in America and it's much cheaper. But of course, a lot of people say, nope, that's not good because of the fact that it's going to be polluting the earth, but it's stupid. That's stupid. We need to produce stuff that we're going to use here in America. And if we don't have the technology to switch away from it, then we cannot switch away from it. It's basic common sense, okay? So, gas prices in some Southern California counties have skyrocketed to an average of over $6 a gallon, the first time they have ever been this high in nearly a year. As of Tuesday, the average gas prices for a regular gasoline in Los Angeles and Orange County was more than $6 a gallon, 6.2 cents in Los Angeles, and 6.22 cents in Orange County, according to data from the AAA and Oil Price Information Service. It's the first time the price has ever topped $6 since October of last year. Both Southern California's counties have seen an average gas price spike more than $1 over the last 2 months. The average gas cost in Ventura County is $6 a gallon, while the average gas price in San Diego is $5.94. According to AAA, 3 California counties that border Nevada also have an average of more than $6 a gallon: Alpine, $6.99, Mono, $6.50, and Inco, I can't pronounce that, $6.14. According to AAA, 3 California counties that border Nevada also average more than $6 a gallon: Alpine, $6.99, Mono, $6.50, and Inyo, $6.14. Several factors have contributed to rising gas prices, including OPEC counties such as Saudi Arabia slashing oil production earlier this summer. The Saudis cut oil production by 1 million, I should say, barrels per day starting in July, which caused crude oil prices to jump. Oil costs are putting upward pressure on pump prices, but the rise is tempered by much lower demand, said Andrew Gross, an AAA National Public Relations Manager. The slide in people fueling up is typical. With schools back in session, the days getting shorter, and the weather less pleasant, but the usual decline in pump prices is being stimulated by these high oil costs, Gross said. The national gas price average is currently $3.88 a gallon, 20.3 cents higher than a year ago. The national average hit a record $5 per gallon in late June last year. The Biden administration this week touted gas prices falling from that peak. If you look at what we've been able to do from the last summer to this summer, lowering gas prices by $1.20, that is because of the work that this administration has done, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said this month. Over the last year, the administration has repeatedly taken credit for occasionally dipping the gas prices even as prices remain high and Americans struggled to keep up with the cost. A year ago, in September, President Biden claimed that the average gas price was below $2.99 in 41 states. In the District of Columbia, in fact, the average gas price at the time was only under $3.99, not $2.99. After the news outlets pointed out the error, the White House corrected the official transcript of Biden's remarks to read the current figure of $3.99. That's just stupid. So they're going to correct the National Archives to say that what he actually said was actually false, and they're just going to correct it just underneath everything else. They're not going to just sit here and say, oh no, we lied. Sorry about lying. I mean, I had the figure wrong. Like, be honest with the public. They're not going to do any of that. Instead, they're just going to sit here and say, no, I actually said 3.99. You're just deaf. Yeah, classic playing the blame game, okay? Oh no, I'm not the one that's the issue here. You're the one that's the issue here. You don't even know how to hear. That's exactly what Joe Biden's trying to say. This is his quote, I'm going to get those prices down again, I promise you. Biden said last week, no, he's not. Critics have called on Biden to take responsibility when gas prices rise, but the administration has not been eager to do so. Some have also pointed out that the national average gas price the day before Biden took office was $2.38, according to AAA, over $1 less than Thursday's $3.83 average. Meanwhile, gas prices were the leading cause of August's 0.6% jump in inflation. That's sad. When we almost have a 1% jump in inflation in 1 month. With election season kicking into gear, gas prices will likely be featured more prominently in the political conversation, especially the question of whether the Biden administration plays a role in keeping prices high. Yes, they actively do, because they're not fracking. I had the same exact argument with a couple people. If we were fracking years ago, when I was saying to frack, like in 2021, we would be facing the repercussions of the actions now, 2 years later. But of course, we don't want to sit here and say, oh no, we need to frack for the future. No, they're going to sit here and say, no, we're going to frack for right now. No, we can't frack for right now because it takes time to refine and stuff like that. Whatever. If it takes a year to go through the system, then we would face the benefits in 1 year. We just take the pain of and the misery of the gas prices rising temporarily so that we can have a lower gas price average later on in the future. But of course, they didn't want to do this because they would be facing the repercussions of their actions, which is a good a net benefit for society, the repercussions of them fracking more. But they didn't want to because they say that that's bad for the environment. So they're going to just turn around and let other countries do that very same thing that we just said that we cannot do because of the environment. That's stupid. So speaking about investing in your own country so it can make more money for your country, China is actually going to be investing $40 billion in state funding to boost the chip industry. So let me get this straight. China can invest in their country, but we as America cannot invest in our country. Seems legit. Exclusive. This is from Reuters. China to launch $40 billion in state funding to boost chip industry. Hong Kong, September 5, Reuters. China is set to launch a new state-backed investment fund that aims to raise about $40 billion for its semiconductor sector. Two people familiar with the matter said, as the country ramps up efforts to catch up with the United States and other rivals. So, in return, the United States should invest $80 billion in state funding to boost the chip industry. Yes, we don't have any money, but we're going to be sending all of this money to Ukraine anyway, so we might as well invest it in ourselves. It is likely to be one of the biggest three funds launched by China Integrated Circuit Industry Investment Fund, also known as the Big Fund. Its target of 300 billion won, or $41 billion, outdoes similar funds in 2014 and 2019, which, according to the government reports, raised 138.7 billion yuan and 200 billion yuan, respectively. One main area of investment will be to equip for chip manufacturing, said one of two people and a third person familiar with the matter. President Xi Jinping has long stressed the need for China to achieve self-sufficiency in semiconductors. That need has become all the more pressing after Washington imposed a series of export control measures over the last couple of years, citing fears that Beijing could use advanced chips to boost its military capabilities. In October, the United States rolled out a sweeping sanctions package that cut China's access to advanced chip manufacturing equipment, and United States allies Japan and Netherlands have taken similar steps. The new fund was approved by the Chinese authorities in recent months, two of the people said. China's finance ministry is planning to contribute 60 billion yuan, said one person. Other contributors could not be immediately learned. All the sources declined to be identified as the discussions were confidential. The State's Consul Information Office, which handles media queries on behalf of the government, the Finance Ministry, and the Ministry of Industry and Information Technology, did not immediately respond to comment, Reuters says. The Big Fund also did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Fundraising process will likely take months and is not immediately clear when the third fund will be launched or if further changes will be made to the plan, said the first two sources. Backers of the Big Fund's previous two funds include the Finance Ministry and deep-pocketed state-owned entities such as China Development Bank Capital, China National Tobacco Corporation, and China Telecom. Over the years, the Big Fund has provided financing to China's two biggest chip foundries, Semiconductor Manufacturing International Corporation and Haya Hong Semiconductor, as well as to Yingte's Memory Technologies, a maker of flash memory, and a number of smaller companies in funds. Despite those investments, China's chip industry has struggled to play a leading role in the global supply chain, especially for advanced chips. So, this is a good thing though, because we do not want them to be too far ahead in technology wise, or else they're going to get too militarily ahead of us when it comes to everything else. And especially in the military. So if we face them, we do not want them to win the war because it's China. Communism spreads like wildfire. So with that being said, we're going to be digging into the media's takes.
No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.
Okay, so moving into the next article, we actually have a CNN article. We have Black Texas student given additional suspension for lock hairstyle. So this is just stupid. Now, this is stupid in two ways. Now, I can see why the school is being so strict because of the fact that if you are in the workplace isn't going to allow you to just get away with stuff just because of the color of your skin. And I'm pretty sure that this school, and they didn't talk about this, of course they didn't, but I'm pretty sure this school would treat anybody the same exact way. Just because you have a certain hairstyle does not mean that you can keep that hairstyle. You need to get rid of your hairstyle if you want to fit into certain schools, if you want to fit into certain work situations, workplaces, stuff like that. If I'm gonna go in with dyed pink hair to my workplace, they're gonna be like, okay, what's going on? What's going on? Because you used to look professional at work, now you don't look professional at work. Just like schools, you need to look like you need to look the part, okay? If you're going to a nice school, an independent school like this person did, because I already read the article, then you need to look the part, okay? You need to get rid of the hair, or not just get rid of the hair, but just style it a little bit differently. That's all they're asking you to do. And they said that you cannot have long hair, but just because you put it in a lock style does not mean that you can still have long hair, because the rules are the rules. So they're saying that this was a racist thing. It's not a racist thing. They would treat anybody the same exact way. Because even sometimes with my sister, she would say they would tell her, listen, you need to put your hair up or whatever the heck. So it happens. Just like with certain things that you wear, depending on how strict the school is, they'll tell you, listen, you cannot wear that. They have the right to tell you you cannot wear that because it's in the dress code that you accepted to at the beginning of the school year. So a Texas high school student who was suspended because of his lock hairstyle violated the district's dress code and was suspended again upon his return to school on Monday, an attorney for the family told CNN. Daryl George has been suspended for more than 2 weeks because his lock hairstyle violates the Barbers Hill Independent School District dress and grooming code, according to his family. The code states that male students' haircut will not extend at any time below the eyebrows or below the earlobes. Allie Booker, an attorney representing the family, told CNN Tuesday that school officials have asked George and his mother to meet to discuss the continued disciplinary action over his hairstyle violations. The family has been giving a Monday deadline to meet with school officials, the lawyer said. Okay, so why don't they meet with him? Quote, what I expect for them to try to do is to put him out of school, Booker told CNN, but they won't do it with our consent. The family was previously told the teen would be placed in a disciplinary alternative education program, also known as alternative school, if he did not cut his hair, Booker said. In a statement shared with CNN, David Bloom, Director of Communications for the Barbers Hill Independent School District, said that the district is unable to provide any comment with respect to the disciplinary measures and involving the student at this time. George, a junior at Barbers Hill High School in Mount Bellevue, received multiple disciplinary action notes and was placed on a school suspension for wearing his locks, hairstyle, and a ponytail. His mother, Dorisha George, previously told CNN. She said Daryl was suspended in the same week the state's Crown Act, a law prohibiting discrimination based on hair texture or protective hairstyles such as locks or braids, went into effect. Okay. So, this is what I think about that law. It's stupid. Okay, they're getting you ready for the workplace. And because of the fact that you need to wear certain hairstyles in the, it's just stupid. If you, and it's not even just like he has a crazy hairstyle, so they're telling him, listen, you cannot wear your hair like that because we do not want your hair looking like that. Just like if your job told you, hey, we do not want hair looking like that. We want it to be more professional. We don't want it to look unprofessional, okay? Because this does not look professional at all. It does not look professional. I mean, that's all I have to say about that. But the thing is that the Crown Act just goes against all of that, and they're saying, oh, no, 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 you should have no right to tell me what to do. My body, my choice, and that's it. Oh, my hair, my choice. My fingers, my choice. I can do whatever I want. I can put long fingernails, and then I'm a RN at a nursing home, and I'm stabbing everybody by accident with my long fingernails. But you know what? I can do what I want to do because this is America. God damn it. That's stupid. No, you do not. You do not have the right to do that. You have a job to do. Okay, your job is to learn. You're in there to learn, not make any political movements just because of the fact that you do not like the way that they're saying that you are not the king of the world, okay? You're not the king of the world. Other people are in control of you because you're under 18, number one. Number two, you cannot wear hairstyles like that in the school if they say no. So we need to get rid of that Crown Act because it's stupid. Okay, so now CNN is saying what we should expect from the federal meeting, because the feds are actually meeting up and they're going to be meeting about the state of the economy, stuff like that. I don't know how they're going to really react to it. I already know that their reaction to it is not going to be the best. So let's dig in. So, the Federal Reserve is expected to hold its benchmark lending rate steady at the conclusion of its September policy on Wednesday afternoon. The central bank has signaled it needs to wait for more data to understand how previous rate hikes are affecting the United States economy. It raised rates to a 22-year high in July. The Fed is also set to release a fresh set of economic projections that will likely reflect stronger economic growth and slightly lower unemployment this year. Compared with previous estimates, officials' new economic projections will likely show at least one more rate hike this year. This seems to be a contentious among Fed officials that holding rates steady this month is the right move. But some have said that the Fed could raise rates again after September. Investors will be looking for clues that the Fed is done with rate hikes, but Fed Chair Jerome Powell will likely stress in this post-meeting news conference that inflation remains unacceptably high. This would leave the door open for another rate increase, which could come when the following meeting concludes. On November 1st, financial markets currently see a 69% chance of the Fed will continue to pause rate increases in November, according to the DME Fed Watch tool. Why the Fed will likely pause. Okay, so that's just stupid. We need to go all in or all out. We can't just dip our toes in the economy and then that's it. Dip our little toes and then get out. And then the water is cold. Oh, the water is cold. No. Jump in the water. Okay? Raise rates to the rate that we are facing inflation now. Raise it to 10%. Okay, yes, some people are not going to be able to pay their bills, and that's just it. But the economy is going to be solved. It's only going to be for a year. We have a depression-like thing going on for a Great Depression-like thing. We have a collapse, okay, for a year, and then we have it a lot better off. And now we don't have to deal with anything. Everything's $1 again or $2 again. Okay, people need to stop spending their money, and that counts me. Okay, I'm still spending my money too. There's nothing that is saying that we need to do anything imminent anytime soon. Fed Governor Christopher Waller told CNBC earlier this month before the latest consumer price index showed higher gas prices helped push up headline inflation in August. We can just sit there and wait for more data. That's stupid. The last time central bank officials decided to hold rates steady was in June, and as uncertainty spiraled as to how much the sprinkling banking crisis would constrain lending. When it became clear the economy was not being hammered by the turbulence, the Fed raised rates again in July. There's also an argument that the central bank has already raised rates high enough to eventually constrain the economy and bring inflation down to the Fed's stated target of 2%. We've gotten monetary policy in a very good place. New York Fed President John Williams told Bloomberg earlier this month, even though the Fed is remeasured by inflation steadily a slowdown, the outlook, the central bank is still facing a number of uncertainties on the horizon. The Fed wants to defeat inflation without inflating unnecessarily economic damage that would jack up unemployment, but while raising interest rates, it began to affect the housing market almost immediately. Office officials are still trying to gauge the impact on the economic growth, spending, in the job market. So, right here, we can see that it's not working, okay? We can see that gas prices are still going up. We can see that everything else is still going down. We can see that the power within our $1 bill is nothing what it used to be. So all of these things add up to a very bad situation, and we can see that the Jerome Powell has nothing, no know-how onto how to fix this actual problem that is facing America right now, except for him saying, "Oh, well, we're gonna see if we're gonna raise interest rates." No, we need to raise interest rates. It's not a question. It's what we have to do.